Alrighty, guys, we are live. I think. Yeah, we're good.
We're
Welcome,
good.
everyone. We're good. We're good. And we're here. We're back. Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of Let's Talk Broncos, brought to you by Mile High Sports. You can follow us on Twitter at Mile High Sports, the LTB podcast, Bri0322, JR Drafts, and Zach_Seegers. You can find all of Zach and Joey's excellent writing on milehighsports.com and listen to any of our previous episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to our new YouTube channel. And if Facebook or Instagram is your thing, you can find us there too. Zach and Joey, how are you both doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I had a good day of work. Actually, a really good day of work. Not too difficult, not too hard. I got to see you guys yesterday. Life is good. Zach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great right now. Just excited to do this. I think we have a really fun show for everyone today. I'm excited to hop into that. Really, I've been looking forward to it all day. I've been finishing up some moving stuff. But yeah, ready to talk some Broncos with y'all.
Zach is in perpetual moving stage at this point. So we'll get an update every single time we go live on how far he's gotten. But I do want to jump into today's episode because, like Zach said, it's a big day for all of us because today the LTB crew will be assuming the role of GM for an expansion team. Each of us has been tasked with selecting 4 players, but for whatever reason, we can only draft young players from the Broncos, and each player selected must be 25 or under. If you draft a player, you take on their existing contract, and as you see before you, Zach Seegers with Team Youngry, Joey Richards with the Team Great Value, and Bri with Team Jay-Z because we got 99 problems, but winning 8-1. How do you guys feel about the start of this draft? Are you ready to go?
The great values were born ready. Great values, mostly because, of course we got Walmart in town now, Broncos Walton now, but also, I mean, all we do is take great values, 4th round steals. That's what we're going for today.
You're giving away your secrets.
Yeah, great values, honoring the new ownership a little bit. Smart to cozy up to them, I feel. I'm Team Youngry in honor of Raheem Morris. During his first run with the Bucks, they were called the Youngry Bucks, which I think is a terrible nickname, but I think it is going to epitomize my team. But yeah, I think let's just hop into this really quick because we do have a lot of picks to get through. Yeah.
You're ready and raring to go. So this is a snake draft. And since I'm the host, I decided I'm going first. And with the number 1 overall pick, this will come to no surprise to anybody. As the president of the Patrick Surtain fan club, he's my number 1 pick.
Yeah.
You can't deny it.
I don't. I have some. I don't have much analysis on this. I think it was the clear-cut number 1 pick. If you have to take a young player on the Broncos, it's Pat Surtain. He was unbelievable as a rookie. I almost feel like having the first pick in this draft is a cheat code. I'd just like to throw that out there to all of our listeners. If you're voting afterwards, I feel like the Team Jay-Z should be deducted at least like a couple points. But anyways, yeah, Surtain, good pick, easy pick. I think it was the smart decision.
Yeah, I fully agree. I was going through building my big board on this and like just making sure I had my notes in order and knowing who I'd want to go through and kind of tearing out the options. And I think PS2 is the number 1 player with a bullet, clear and away the best player to start building a team around. You have 4 years left of control, which is the most you could possibly have with these guys still being known commodities. You've got 4 years of team control left. He already looks like a star and has superstar upside. He could be the best cornerback in the league on this contract. You're going to have him, which is very cheap. And he plays a premier position, like every single box. Oh, and then character. Like it checks every single character box you'd want. Super hard worker, super smart player, no issues at all with like personality or off-field stuff or anything. Like he is exactly what we're looking for in this exercise. Like the only way it could be better is if he did all those things at like quarterback or maybe tackle. It is, yeah, picture perfect, number 1 guy. Everyone else has like a nick here or there, like one thing you can kind of knock him for. That's not the case with Surtain.
Love it, absolutely, and I'm already gonna call the game, stop the count. I'm winning this one, boys. Let's go ahead and move on to our number 2 pick. That's going to be Joey with the number 2.
Okay, guys. I mean, this was a tough decision. I kind of had this planned out. We all knew Sertan was going number 1. Um, Once you get to number 2, it's not as easy. Now, I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts. I went with Draymond Jones, exactly at 25 years old. He's on the last year of his deal, so that's a little bit of a knock, right? Because we're building a franchise. You have to pay him this next season. But guess what? You play good players, and he's a really good player. And every single season, I've seen the guy improve. Ever since he was drafted, and I think he deserves the money. So I'm willing to go out there and get Draymond Jones. It's so hard to find great pass rushers on the interior defensive line, and I think Draymond Jones can be one.
I still think he exists as an underrated lineman, and you spoke to it with his high pass rush productivity, a force to be reckoned with, and I'm sad to see him go because he was trending there in the top of my board. Zach?
Yeah, I fully agree. Sorry, I was finishing typing the ticker. I fully agree. I think Draymond Jones is a really good pick at number 2. He was my number 2 player, but the 1 year knock is a big issue for me.
Is it?
Just because, like, yes, you pay good players, but there are good players, I think, available that you can get, and he's still my number 2 player. I agree with the pick, but the players I'm about to pick, I'm going to have for 4 years or 3 years at a very cheap deal, and then 1 year on an expensive deal. You're going to be paying Draymond probably 18 to 20 for 3 of those years. And then you'll have the 1 cheap year here. So that'll average out to about 15 million a year versus some of the guys still available that might be like 2 million. It's a little nitpicky. Draymond's the sure thing. You like you said, keeps trending up, sustained dominance every year. I also fully agree with what Bri said about him existing as an underrated player eternally. PFF just put out a list of like the top 30 defensive linemen in the league, like interior defensive linemen, and he wasn't on it, which I thought was absolutely wild. There were some really surprising names on there too that I can't remember right now, like a player on the Dolphins I had never even heard of. So yeah, interesting choices. With the number 3 pick, and it'll snake back to me here. Number 3 pick, I'm going Quinn Miners. We have the exclusive interview out with him now. So go check that out on our Twitter feed. But yeah, I just think you want good players. Joey kind of said that in the last one. I'm not too worried about the positional value here, looking at some of the other players available. I think a lot of them have the positional value knock. And I think he can be an all-pro guard. I don't know if he will be, but I do think he'll be a multiple-time Pro Bowl level guard. I think he'll be a really, really talented player. The fact he is as good as he was as a rookie was really impressive. I think he's now in a scheme that suits his strengths even better. So I think that's really exciting. And yeah, I just think the sky is the limit for him. And I also think if I'm building a team, I don't want to just throw a quarterback into the fire. Quarterback's the most important position, but I'd almost rather have my offensive line figured out before I draft a young quarterback, because I think it is just so hard to develop that guy if you have a porous offensive line. And we're building a franchise from scratch here. Give me Quinn Miners, a good character guy too.
All right, I have a question before we continue real quick. Zach, is your strategy winning in your brain or winning this game? Are we going for the fan vote, or are we going to win the game? Because I'm a little suspicious. I don't know about the fans are going to be happy with this Quinn Miners at 3.
You know what? That's a fair point. I'll fall on the sword. I want to be able to sleep at night knowing I built the best team I could. And if some people aren't smart enough to understand I won the exercise, I can't save everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. It's debatable. We'll see
I'll
what
get him
people
back.
have to say.
I'm going to get him back on my side with the number 4 pick here. Javonte Williams. Maybe it is too early to go running back, but I have bigger question marks about all the other players at different positions. And if I'm just starting this team out, I want to build a foundation for this team. I want at least something I can do offensively. We don't have a quarterback in this draft. There are some receivers, but I think those receivers have some big questions. I've got Quinn Miners. I've got Javonte Williams. I've got an identity on offense, or at least the foundation of maybe an identity on offense. And I'll have a run game in year one. I'm an expansion franchise. The other parts of my roster might be bad, but I'm rolling with something here. And they're going to be good for the next 4 or 5 years. I think I have players that can be elite at their positions for the next 3-4 years. And I won't have to pay them for a while. I'm going to have them for cheap too, so I can buy some big free agents.
We get it. You made a smart decision, but there is one quarterback that's available in this draft. Rips on 25.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if we're truly running an expansion team and we can only pick Broncos, the team with
I'll sign a free agent.
Win. I'm
signing Colin Kaepernick before I have Brett Rippon as my starting quarterback.
Kendall Hinton is also available. So.
Kendall Hinton, actually, that's a great point. Maybe we draft Kendall Hinton and have the Joker play.
Okay, I believe I'm on the clock. Is this correct?
This is correct.
Okay. All right. So I feel like Zach just took another tier off the board with his 2 picks there. I had them lined up similarly.
That's funny that we had it the same way.
I literally had it the exact same way. I had Quinn Miners number 2 and Javonte Williams number 3. Or
3-4.
3 and 4, my bad. Yeah. So here I'm going to take a former first round pick in Jerry Jeudy. And I the talent is just really, really, really good. And that's what I have to say. I mean, he's proven at Alabama. He was very consistent. I think that if he can have a healthy year, sky's the limits with Russell Wilson. I really do think that. And he could definitely earn himself some serious money going into the future. Jerry Jeudy's could be a problem. So that's what I'm going to go with. I think out of the rest of these guys, Jerry Jeudy has the best potential. And I think even over some of your guys' picks that you took earlier, Jerry Jeudy has more potential than them. So that's who I'm going to go with there.
That is a shock to me, Joey, that is the direction you chose to go in. I'm not mad about it because it wasn't one of my picks that's coming up. So congrats to you. Zach's already infuriated me at this point.
I had Jeudy at 9. So Joey, a big disagreement for you. I agree with the upside thing. I do disagree a little bit with it. I think he can be a really, really good number 2 receiver. And I have enough concerns now at this point that it knocked it down just a hair for me.
Yeah, well, I'm going to win the fan vote on this one. I'm pretty certain in that. I'm definitely pulling some votes for that, and I'm going for the W. So that's that's what I'm doing.
The claws are out and Joey is coming for both of our necks. Ty's just catching up with us here now. Hi, Ty. How are you? These are our team names. As you can see them posted up. We gave a little bit of a rundown at the start of the show, but we did name our expansion teams and we're going for wins here now. I do need an offensive weapon, and I think a player that can do everything that Jeudy can do and do it with that crazy speed is KJ Hamler. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Hamler with my next grab, which I think we're at pick 6 now. As a wide receiver, I think you're looking, obviously he's on the 3rd year of his contract. So that's going to be coming up as well. I'm not worried too much about that because I'm in a win now state of mind. Assuming keeping healthy, I don't see an issue for Hamler this season. It's a no-brainer for me. An extension looms in 2024, and I'm willing to bet on him. I'm going to pony up that cash.
All right, Bri, but can he stay healthy? I'm going to just start poking holes in everybody's thing here. I'm going for the win, as I explained earlier. But
we don't know yet. But if he does
stay healthy, though, I just feel like what's the best availability. That's a very common trend here. And that would be my worry about KJ Hamler. I do agree with you, though. I'm going to give you your props. I'm going to be real for a second. KJ Hamler, his potential is awesome. I always talk about what I saw in training camp last offseason, and it was really, really special. I think KJ Hamler, if he can, is a great fit with Russell Wilson and could be a really good player for the Broncos.
I really like KJ Hamler, and he might be great overall. A refresher on the draft rules in case we have people coming in really quick. We are building an expansion team. This is an expansion draft pretty much. We are GMs of 3 startup teams. We're building teams from scratch. If you draft a player, you take on their existing contract.
Correct.
So putting them in a vacuum. Hamler I had lower. I had Judy and Hamler lower. I think one offensive weapon ahead of those guys. So I feel good right now. I feel like the Baltimore Ravens on draft night right now.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I feel there's a little we could I suggest everyone go onto their Twitter search bar, type in the name at Zach. I think it's _Seegers. Am I correct?
Yes.
And then type in running backs don't matter, and everyone see what pops up there. Let's just see what happens.
Okay,
I'm still mad about it.
He's a great player. I am building an offensive identity. My picks go together like peanut butter and chocolate.
Okay.
What, like, are we talking Reese's all of a sudden?
What do you go?
Well, peanut butter and jelly. Like, I thought that would be like you're stretching. You're trying to be fancy. It's fine.
Nothing says elegance like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Wow. There's so much fire and fuel flying right now. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know why everyone's being so bitey towards me. I'm also stalling a little bit because I am struggling with my next pick on whether or not I'm going to go offense or defense. And I think I got to load up my weaponry because you do need a lot of targets, especially if you're going after a really strong quarterback, free agent out there. So I'm eyeing my number 3 pick, which has been my number 3 pick. And since it's there, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with Albert O, the tight end, as he heads into, obviously his 3rd year, has some time to grow into that roster spot. He's obviously the looked at starter for this season. And I think he's just going to continue to rise those ranks. And I think it's a smart choice for a team who's in it to win it now. How do you guys feel?
Okay, Bri. Okay, all right. I'm going to just tell you how I had my draft board set up. I listed 12 players, correct? Because that's how many players are going to be taken today. And Albert O was one of my last players on there. It's not that I'm not mad at your philosophy. I have just never personally been the big Albert O support guy. I really haven't. He's a lot better than I thought he would be coming out of college. I didn't think he would be that great coming out of Missouri. I didn't love him. And maybe it's that bias lingers in my brain a little bit, but that's just where I am on Albert O. Zach, I'm interested actually in your thoughts on Albert O and how good you think he is or can be.
I like this pick better than either of your last 2 picks.
Wow.
Actually, so I'm on the other end of the spectrum for you. We had an identical start, Joey, and my big board, but now we're differing. I feel like I have fewer questions about Albert O than Judy right now because I've seen Albert O play at a high level in the NFL, even with the bad quarterback play. I don't know if I've really seen that.
I don't know. I feel like I'm about to jump out of my chair right now. I feel like if you give me 6 Jerry Jeudy healthy games, he's going to produce as much as Albert O does this next year.
And he might,
Maybe.
but I am a little. I have more questions with Jeudy right now. I'm a little concerned with it. Okay. It could easily be a take that bites me. These 2 were both ones I was a little. Again, there's a lot of questions at this point. Is where we start having some serious questions with Albert O. For me, it's the injury stuff. I was really impressed with what I saw down the stretch last year. I don't think he'll ever be a great blocker, but I do think he can be a really dynamic receiver. And I think he's he's not a Mike Gesicki. He's serviceable as a blocker. And I think you can survive with him at times in that role. But I think he can be a really good receiver. And I think I've already seen him achieve higher heights with the poor quarterback play. So I feel a little more confident in what he could do with my expansion team quarterback, who we are going to be able to draft probably.
Okay. With that being said, the Denver Great Value Select It's my pick, right? I'm not just like making selections. Okay.
Yeah, it's your pick.
Yes,
All
it's
right,
your
it's my
pick.
pick. I'm going with Baron Browning, and I plan on playing him at inside linebacker. That's my plan there. I think Baron Browning was awesome as a rookie. His athleticism is through the roof. I like if we're taking young players, and I'm an expansion team. I don't have much on my team yet, so I'm trying to go for home run swings, and I think Baron Browning gives me that opportunity. I really do. You can look at his relative athletic score coming out of Ohio State, ridiculous. And you know what? Maybe we even move him to edge every once in a while. But I want my team to first see how he works at edge before I make it a full-time position switch.
Do you have any concerns about being a proven player thus far? Do you feel like he's shown you enough that you feel super confident in that pick?
I mean, I'm on my third pick now, and we're picking players 25 and under. I think Baron Browning, out of the players on here, he's shown me just about as much as everybody else, maybe excluding one guy that I would love to scoop up later. But I think with that, he's proven just as much, and he has greater potential than all the rest of the guys on my list here.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting pick. I actually am going to be able to get my 3, 4, 5, and 6 players. So I'm interested about that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So we definitely had some disagreements, but you guys took my 7, 8, 9 off the board. Yeah, I like Browning a lot. The positional thing was something that made him more difficult to rank. With Bri, I'm not sure if he's really good. The sample size is kind of small. I think he's probably a really good off-ball linebacker, but maybe he really is set on playing edge. It sounds like part of it was this is what he wants to do positionally. So
yeah, he doesn't get a say on my team. He's playing inside linebacker whether he likes it or not.
Joey's a dictator. So now that information's come out.
I'm going with my third pick. I'm going Bradley Chubb. Yes, there are injury concerns. Yes, I only have 1 year left, but this is a guy that in his 2 healthy seasons has been a Pro Bowl pass rusher. I don't know if he made it the first year, but he had the 12 sacks. I think the third year is probably more impressive, even if the numbers weren't there. But he's shown the potential of being one of the better pass rushers in the NFL, and that's a premier position. We're building a team from scratch. I want to the great values with Vic Fangio at a defensive coordinator.
We're definitely doing that.
Throwing out and Joey's on board. Yeah, it's tough for me with the Browning thing. I'm going with Bradley Chubb. Yeah, edge rusher. I want to build with premium positions. I want to build my lines up. When he's healthy, he's really, really good. And I have hopes that it's been bad luck these first few years, and he'll have better luck staying healthy in the future, hopefully.
Ooh, okay, so I'm about to just be a hater because he was also my next on my list. But is it a little crazy to you, Zach, and a little telling maybe that the Broncos staff come in and they're immediately spend their first pick on an edge rusher, and then they move Baron Browning, who was phenomenal at inside linebacker last year, to edge? Isn't that a little telling? And they added Randy Gregory, big contract Randy Gregory. Isn't that a little telling of what they think about Bradley Chubb, especially when one of those guys is still available right now?
A little. I would say, though, yes, it's a little telling. I think it's also just like being realistic about the situation. You have a player that you rely on a lot, who has injury concerns. When he's been injured, you've been placed in a really bad situation in the past where you haven't been able to manufacture any type of pass rush. And that player is also coming up for a contract. That's a recipe. And you lost his co-star and the face of the franchise that played on the opposite side. There are more reasons than not having confidence in like Bradley Chubb's on-field play to invest in edge. So that's why, does it say it a little bit? Yeah, it does. But I don't think it says it to the extent that you're implying. as shown by the fact he was next on your board too. My next pick. This one
I shouldn't be giving you my details.
I know.
I'm going to use it against you. My next pick, I think, is a good one. Maybe it'll surprise people. I'm curious what you guys think about this one. Caden Stearns. I know he is very highly thought of by the veterans on Denver's roster, defensive veterans who I think are really, really smart players. They think Stearns is a really smart player. I think it seems like he's back on the straight and narrow. And this is a player that was hyped up as a top 10 pick at safety, which is very difficult to do. Kyle Hamilton didn't go top 10. His freshman year fell off that path. And maybe there's concerns once I pay him, but I'm getting him at 3 years for pretty cheap. And I think he's going to be a really high-end starter. I think, and a more I think I don't know, his role was fairly small last year, but I have fewer concerns about him than a lot of the players that have already been drafted, including Chubb. So I feel great getting him at this spot.
Larry, the man. We cannot do money right now. We're trying to figure that out. I appreciate you even thinking about
super chats, but
donating money. But yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming in, man. Okay, is it my pick again?
Well, I just want to make a statement to Zach's Stearns pick because I think we were able to watch him be just super impressive during training camp last season, and just his immediate impact was felt on the field. And I think that's a really smart grab. I'm not mad about it. I did have him in my top 12. So yeah, I think it's a really smart pick, and I think that was a great get. Go ahead, Joey.
Okay. I want to hate on this pick somehow. I think that I don't know. To Zach's point, I mean, he's a little we haven't seen him in an expanded role very much. We haven't seen him really at true safety that much. And that would be my major concern for Caden Stearns, especially when it's only one season. Is this a one-year wonder type situation we're talking about? I mean, Texas, we had a similar path, right? We really did have a similar path at Texas where his first year out of the gates, phenomenal. But the rest of the way through, now we're looking at, I think he was a 5th-round pick. So that would be my concern on that Caden Stearns pick.
Not to mention, Kareem Jackson is going to be the starter.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Brilliant. No. And I will, we can make a bet right now on air. Joey?
Is this sources?
I'm pretty good at poking holes in your guys' pick.
I know. I was about to say, Joey, this is the proof that Joey will go full Stephen A. He's saying, normally, whenever we do a podcast, I think we all shoot it so straight. This is the first time where we made it a game, and we're also competitive. This is the first time I've ever seen us Stephen A. our argument. Here's my thing. The thing about we haven't seen him a ton at safety is a good point. He has every trait that suggests he would be good transitioning to safety full time. If for some reason, which would really surprise me, that doesn't end up being the case, he can be this is a league now where you can have a third safety on the field. That's actually becoming in vogue. You can have it all the time. He can be that Tyrann Mathieu role, and I think play it at a really high level. He has already proven that, and he's an elite athlete. There's so much untapped potential still left. And the 1-year wonder thing, I think showing back up in Denver and being as dedicated as he is, where you have all the veterans raving about him, shows that he learned from that past experience. And I'd be surprised if he goes back down that road again, Joe. I wouldn't be surprised, but for the sake of this podcast, it would never happen.
All right. Go ahead,
Is it Joey?
Yeah. It's my pick. Okay. I mean, we have still our rookies available. We drafted these guys this year. We have a guy that we drafted in the 2nd round this year available. Our first pick, it's kind of crazy. He's still sitting here to me. I'm going with Nick Bonito. I have to. Zach took Bradley Chubb earlier. I'm taking maybe Bradley Chubb's successor. I think that Nick Bonito comes in. He plays a premium position. We've had a lot of picks that haven't been today, premium positions. Nick Bonito plays one. We know that he can really get after the rusher. And this is exactly what I was talking about when I named my team the Great Values. We're taking guys that I can get for the next 4 years at a premium position on a rookie contract. So I'm pretty happy with this one.
I am so mad.
I need everyone to see Bri's face right now. If you're one of the people in the chat that are saying you're voting for Bri, she's clearly upset that I just took one of the better players.
It's fine, actually. I don't care. There wasn't anything to that anyway, so you're fine. It's just now I am without any range of motion on where I'm going to go next.
Who did Joey just take? I'm writing the ticker. Who did Joey just take?
I took Nick Benito. I took the round pick, edge rusher, rookie deal, 4 years. A lot of good stuff going here.
I like it. You get the 4 years. He's one of 2 players in this draft. You have 4 years of control, PS2 being the other who went number 1 overall, and PS2 because of the slotted salary thing was a lot more expensive. So actually the cheapest player in this draft in terms of like how long you're getting them and how much you're paying them. Or I guess Dulcich and the other rookies in the draft are cheaper. But one of the cheapest players available. And yeah, it's a gamble. He's one of the guys we haven't seen at the NFL level, so he could very quickly look like one of the worst options. But I had him 10th on my big board, so I even have this as a little bit of a steal. I really like the pick.
Can I answer this real quick?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Frankie asked, does Benito even outproduce Browning this year? Well, it's a good thing I have both of them. That'd be my answer to that. I have them both. You know, we're getting after the quarterback this year.
I think that's what you're going to do with his speed out there.
I saw it coming.
He really set you up. Did you hire Frankie to come into the chat and pad your picks? Because it's a little frustrating. I said I was going to cheat earlier, and you know what I did is I didn't. I chose to play this game really straightforward, and now I'm paying the price because I am torn in real life.
Okay,
in real life, cheat. How are you going to cheat?
I was going to ask somebody else to draft for me.
Frankie's question was for real life. Do you guys want to answer this real quick?
Yep, let's go.
Okay, cool. Does he even outproduce Browning this year? I have no idea what to expect from Browning. Like, I couldn't give you a straight answer. I don't know what the really, like, they keep saying he's going to be edge. I believe it at this point. I think he is. But I need to see more from him to even get, like, an evaluation from him at that position. We saw it at Ohio State, and he flashed a ton there in spurts. But it's so hard to put, like, production on Browning, switching positions to edge this next year. I really have no idea. Zach, do you have a better idea than I do?
Yeah, I would put my money on Nick Benito because I think production translates a little bit better at pass rusher than other positions, and he was ridiculously productive at college. And yeah, he's played a lot more pass rusher snaps than Browning, even if Browning has like the NFL experience. If you tally up college and pro snaps rushing the passer, I would bet a good bit of money that Benito's ahead of him there. So I think Benito would outproduce him, but it'd be like a 60-40 thing. I think it could go either way pretty easily. Is Bri? I think Bri is now on the clock.
Bri's on the clock.
Final pick of the draft.
What is this name of the pick in the draft again? The last pick of the draft?
Mr. Irrelevant.
You're taking Mr. Irrelevant here, Bri.
I know. That's why
Joey's just like going so brutal this episode. I love it. It's the heel turn we need.
And you know what? People watching at home are going to feel bad that you're picking and bullying me because I'm the favorite. So nice way to play this. Gosh darn it. Okay, guys. I didn't plan accordingly. All my players are off the board that I had hoped.
Do you want me to read off some that are still available?
No, I have a whole list. I have all 42 in front of me. I'm just trying to attack this in the most how do I get sympathy votes as possible. So we're going to go defensive player because I need to round out my picks. And you know what? We've been in the win now mindset. So I'm going to lock down the secondary and go with Michael Ojemudia because he's right there at 24. He's on year 3. I'm going to have to pay him anyways. I feel like I'm a cash heavy team. I think I have the ability to do so. And I want to win now, and I'm not worried about paying up front for that sort of coverage. So, although, yeah, there's questions surrounding his ability to be efficient out there, I think that rounding out my cornerbacks and my secondary is going to be important. So that's who I'm going with. And if you think I'm annoyed, the answer is yes. So let's go.
Okay. I'm not actually mad at this pick. I'm really not. I think so. What people forget, before missing almost all of last year, I thought Michael Ojemudia had a pretty average season as a rookie, and I think coming in and looking average at the cornerback position as a rookie is not like in the easiest thing. And he was always supposed to be a potential guy. I think people forget that. He came from an Iowa defense that rarely ran man coverage. Like, if you go through, I have a tweet from back in the draft where it was like one of the few reps I saw him in man coverage, and I clipped it because that's how excited you got when you saw those reps, just because it was so hard to see from how it would go from college to the NFL. But I thought he looked pretty good his rookie year for corner. And then at the end of last year, that last game, it was pretty exciting. It's hard to put much stock into it, but he played pretty good. So I'm not terribly mad at it. There is a player that I think I would have taken before him, but you already drafted a player at that guy's position, so I'm not gonna hit you over the head about it.
Yeah, I like the Michael Ojemudia pick. I think it's a gamble for sure because the sample size we've seen has been very small. It was a good season for a rookie cornerback. It wasn't exceptional like Surtain, but like what Ojemudia did as a rookie was above expectation for a third-round rookie cornerback who was thrown into the fire as he was. Has the really nasty injury, doesn't play a ton in year 2. And then when he finally gets on the field, looks pretty awesome. But it's a fairly big gamble on that sample size for me. But I don't hate the pick. Now I'm torn. I'm going to go against my board here. Or wait, no, I'm not drafting. I'm just looking at the players that are still left. Yeah, no, our teams are fully built. They're scrolling down below.
12.
I'm typing in the proper one. I still had Dulcich was my best player who didn't go. I think Jonas Griffith. I like Jonas Griffith a lot. Young, going into a big role, pretty cheap, but I think he's on a shorter contract. Jonathan Cooper up there. And then I thought Joey might sneakily take McTelvin Ajim as a gamble, but went undrafted. And then Kendall Hinton was the last player I ranked. But there were Bri said 42 players, 25 and under. I only ranked 17, so Kendall Hinton's still up there.
Kendall Hinton's still up there. And you know what? I thought about taking Dulcich just because of the capital that's there. Your return on investment could be super high, but I felt like I wasn't able to balance out my team well enough as those players under 25 kept falling off the board. So it would have been a little outnumbered, but I think that probably would have been my other decision there at number 4 for me, or number 12, Mr. Irrelevant.
What do we think about making a final case for your team?
I like it. And
Sure.
As we do that, I have our teams fully written out for whoever wants to go first.
Okay, I'll take the lead here. I think the great values, right? I spoke to it earlier.
This is Joey's team.
We're just stealing players pretty much.
And read it off really quick for the audio listeners.
Yeah, for sure. So with the second pick and my first pick, which was the second right after Patrick Surtain, the second overall pick, I took Draymond Jones, tier defensive lineman, pass rusher extraordinaire, still getting better every year. I think we all at this screen would agree that we think he's in for a big year. Jerry Jeudy, first pick of the draft. If we want, we could pick up his 5th-year option. So I have him for 3 more years on that rookie contract. We all know how extremely talented he is, how great of a route runner he is, and I think his potential is great. Baron Browning, staff's moving him the edge. I'm keeping him at inside linebacker. Even if he wants to play edge, he's not allowed. We're keeping him at inside linebacker. Maybe if he feels like he's really pushing for it, we can sprinkle some edge snaps in there. But we went Baron Browning. I think I spoke to it earlier. High relative athletic score, freakish linebacker. And after all of the stuff last year where he missed training camp, had injuries, and all of that, came in midseason and looked great. And then I finished it off with the Broncos' first pick of the draft this year. The Broncos agree with me. I took Nick Benito, edge rusher, premium position, and a rookie. So I get that nice long rookie contract to go with it. So, yeah, I think I came away with a really, really solid defense. We can pass rush for days. And then I have an offensive weapon that is just as talented. If we're just talking strictly talented as I think anybody on the team, I think he's awesome. So,
on paper.
On paper.
Bri, do you want to go or should I go next?
I mean, I'd be happy to go. That looked like you go ahead. You had yours pulled up.
I did, but I had the wrong name up pretty embarrassingly. So let me fix that really quick. Okay, Joey and Bri's drafts are sexier right off the bat. I understand.
1,000%.
I understand. I'm probably going to lose the fan vote. I got good players. They've got one like rock solid player each. Bri went first overall and got Patrick Surtain. I can't knock that whatsoever. But KJ Hamler, so many question marks. So many question marks. He hasn't even been a productive receiver when healthy, and we don't know if he'll continue to be healthy. Albert Okwuegbunam, serious injury question mark.
This is about your draft.
This is how I'm making my case. He has one healthy season between his pro and college career. Michael Ojemudia, okay? One healthy season, one injured season. Seriously, her team is going to take up most of the hospital in whatever city her expansion team is playing. You've got the great values over here. Draymond Jones, rock solid.
Amazing.
But you only have him for 1 year. You're going to be averaging $15 million a year on that, however long you have him. It's going to be expensive. He could also hit the open market. You might only have him for 1 year, you expansion team. 2, Jerry Jeudy, serious questions. Baron Browning, serious questions. Nick Benito, never played in an NFL game, could be a bust. My team, on the other hand, Quinn Miners, rock solid. This guy's going to be a great guard for the next decade. Javonte Williams, great running back for the next 5 years. Bradley Chubb, okay, I took a gamble. Okay? Caden Stearns, rock solid. But if my Bradley Chubb gamble pays off, I've got a great edge rusher. And I'm happy with that. I got him at the 9th pick. That's unbelievable value. My team is the best. It's not sexy. It's meat and potatoes. But it is. I've got quality players. They're both crossing their fingers for the next 5 years.
Yeah, well, Zach, I think we let the fans speak. I don't think they're going to agree with your takes here. I mean, I'd be shocked to see if you got a vote, if we're being honest. but anyways, like, if we're just going to continue on here,
listen
Bri,
to
do you
your
want to make
fans. Bri, the floor is yours once you compose yourself.
I was literally laughing so hard I had to mute myself. Like, I don't have a voice, so this was hysterical to me because Zach's like, let me pull up my team and I will give you. And he just goes absolutely berserk on all of my picks and like was not laying off the gas. That's because he's scared and had to apply pressure in order to bully you into voting for his team. He had to convince you that he won this draft. And as you can see, my first overall pick with Patrick Surtain proves that I have already won this case. I've got also 2 incredible offensive weapons that, if healthy, and yes, I understand there's question marks with KJ Hamler, but when healthy, he is so incredibly impressive. And as we know, his trek to be completely healthy for the start of the season is on schedule. He's looking great. You've seen him out there. So like, let's talk about that, on how pressed you were to say there were question marks around KJ Hamler. There's no question marks in my head. I think he's going to be healed up, ready to go. And my whole thought process going into this draft was going to win now with high stake, high priced players that, yeah, maybe I'm not really investing in a long-term plan, but we're a win now team. So with Albert O, I think he's just going to take another step up. And then with Ojemudia, I've got maybe an unproven talent. There's question marks there, but you've seen his splash plays, so I'm not worried there either. I have no doubt in my mind that people are going to look at my list and just kind of like, yeah, makes sense. So thank you for fighting so hard and aggressively towards it. Joey, if you'd like to take the floor too and pick apart my picks, I'd be happy to listen.
My team, I don't know if you guys heard my first closing statement, but I didn't even have to bring up your guys' team because the great values just are not worried about what's going on with your guys' two teams. We're going to let the fans speak. They speak for themselves. If you guys have a vote, you know who to vote for. That's my closing speech.
Bri, I want to make it clear. I'm sorry you feel unfairly attacked. I think your and Joey's teams are equally bad. So that's why everyone should vote for me. I'm not trying to like pick on anyone in particular here. Like both of them are bad equally. So that's why you need to vote for me. Team Youngry.
Because he's not.
Mundungus chimes in and says he's disappointed in Bri, even though Tom Brady isn't on the Broncos. How do you or fight even a little bit to have him be your pick?
Because he's twice the age of our age requirement. So it kind of.
He is. He's close to almost being double the age. He's double the age of wow. That's wild to think about. He's double the age of some of the players we picked.
That's why he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's pretty great. No, he's not. He's terrible. Vote for Team Youngry. My slogan, game over name. That's my campaign slogan.
We're just going to continue to let them talk. Our picks speak for themselves. I'll say it again. Anyways, that's all I have. Yeah. Are you guys ready to close out?
I am. I think that was fantastic. I will say, with winning not being a problem, that's exactly what my team's built for. And on that note, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We had a ton of fun doing this live episode, playing a little game with all of you guys chiming in. We had Larry stop by, Mike stop by, Darius, Frankie. I can't remember who else was. Ty was in here. Buana Beast, Cross Streams. We've got people coming from other shows. John was in here. So I just wanted to say hello and thank you to everybody for listening. Zach and Joey, do you want to tell the people where they can find the rest of your stuff?
Yeah. You can find all my work at Mile High Sports, and you can follow me at JR Drafts. Those are my two things. Zach, what about you?
Same thing. Mile High Sports. So many articles over there at Zach_Seegers on Twitter. Please keep showing up for our shows. We're having a blast doing this Mondays, Wednesdays. And then the one last thing I wanted to say, go to our Twitter at the LTB podcast. We'll have a poll up so you can vote for our favorite team the moment this show's over. We'll set that up. So go over, vote there. I'll see if we can also do polls on Facebook. If that's the thing and you're a Facebook person and you're there, you can vote on Facebook too. We'll tabulate the votes and go over who won on the next episode.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much again. I'm going to echo their sentiments. Appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time. In the meantime, let's go Broncos.